Today on the channel we are going to be taking a look at this, the DJI Robomaster S1. Now I bought this about 3 months ago, but it had to stay in a box until the 25th of December. Now that period has passed, I've been able to spend some time with it. And in this video, I'm going to give you guys an overview of the Robomaster kit itself, what's included with it, what it's like to actually put together, and at the end of the video I'm going to give you my thoughts on what it is actually like, showing you some of its features and if I think you should buy this or not. Now, if you don't know what Robomaster is, it is an educational robot designed for adults and kids that allows you to learn block programming as well as Python. Further to that, it is actually a battle bot that allows you to play games via the inbuilt software, but also battle against other Robomaster users firing via its inbuilt laser and airsoft pellet cannon. And we'll take a look at that a little bit closer later on in the video. Now, the first thing we're going to do is take a look at what's included with the kit, and then we'll take a look at the assembly and a number of its features. When you open the box to Robomaster, you'll be greeted by a foam tray that contains the rollers for the 4 Meccanum wheels, as well as the instructions contained within a small cardboard box. In the box there are a total of 3 foam trays, all holding the components to be able to put the Robomaster together. Now in the bottom tray you will find the chassis, which is already partly assembled. You have the main infrared stroke airsoft cannon, the turret controller, the camera, as well as the wheel motors. Now something to mention on these wheel motors is that they are brushless motors and they are fitted directly to the chassis and the wheels themselves with no gears involved, and this is what helps make the Robomaster so smooth when it moves around. On the middle tray, you will then find the outside parts of the wheels ready for assembly, a special wheel assembly tool, as well as various other parts of the chassis and the battery charger as well. Now, these Meccanum wheels, as I said, will require total assembly, and they also include a little tool in the middle to be able to do this as well. Moving over to the last tray, this is the same one you've seen on the top, which has all of the individual wheel rollers, and again these are to go into the Meccanum wheels as you assemble them, and then you have the main set of instructions as well as the accessories that come with it to allow you to do some really quite cool and interesting things with the Robomaster, which I'll show you a little bit later on. Other than an actual smart device to be able to control it, DJI include absolutely everything you need, including all the little screws to put it together and a little screwdriver as well. Now the Robomaster S1 took me about 2.5 hours to put together in total, and that was mostly because I kept everything in the packaging. You can do it a bit quicker if you lay it all out on a table. Now as you can see, I had some helping hands as well, and they helped me get the Robomaster together ready to use. Now I have to say, this kit is one of the most enjoyable builds I have done in a very long time. DJI's instructions are very clear, mostly picture based, but it allows you to get it together without too many issues. It has everything you need, and it is just a very enjoyable experience. Now, just like when you have any newborn machine, it takes a little bit of time to wake up and look at its surroundings. So when you first turn Robomaster on, do be a little bit aware, give it plenty of space to stretch its legs, and don't frighten it too much, otherwise you might get a little bit of a nasty surprise. Taking a closer look over Robomaster and its spec, on the top you will see the main input connectivity module. Now this houses the built-in Wi-Fi, which supports both 2.4 and 5 gig connection. It's able to connect either to your smartphone or tablet or directly to a router to give you better range and multi-device battling. Now in FCC it supports up to 140 meters range in 2.4 and 90 meters range in 5.8 gig when connecting to your phone or tablet. That range is increased to 190 meters in 2.4 and 300 meters in 5 gig when you are using it with a router. Also attached to the air module is the Robomaster's camera. Now this is a 1/4 inch CMOS 5 megapixel sensor with a 120 degree field of view and an f2.4 lens. It can record full HD video up to 1080p 30 frames a second, up to 16 megabits a second bitrate. It can also record stills in JPEG up to 2560 by 1440. Now this data is actually recorded onto a micro SD card, which is located in the front of the main air unit itself under the little flap. Now the camera is mounted just above the main cannon below the air unit itself, and as it is on the main turret assembly, it does mean that it moves around with the cannon, giving you that FPV look. Located on the bottom of the main camera turret, you also have a speaker, and this allows you to record audio via your smart device and play it back over the Robomaster itself. Now moving round to the sides of the Robomaster, you will see the onboard infrared and hit detectors, and this is part of the battling mechanism on board the Robomaster. Now these will pick up both physical hits from the bead cannons as well as infrared hits from the cannons as well when you are fighting against other Robomaster units. Now located under the back detector is the onboard battery. Now just like a lot of DJI's equipment, this is a smart battery. It weighs 169 grams and has a capacity of 2,400 milliamp hour at 12.6 volts, so it is a 3S. Now it will give you approximately 35 minutes of runtime whilst the unit is moving around, or approximately 100 minutes in standby. Now it comes with one battery included in the kit, and you also get this little stand charger as well, which takes normally about 2 to 2 and a bit hours to charge the battery fully. Now because it is a smart battery, it does mean you do have to press the button twice to be able to get it to turn on, just like most of DJI's other equipment out there. Now at the heart of the Robomaster is this custom DJI multi-controller. This is where all the motors and the sensors connect to, but it also allows you to do the custom programming on board as well. This also allows a RC input via S-Bus 2, which means you can actually control the Robomaster via a traditional remote controller if you want to. Now one of the really cool features about the Robomaster is the Meccanum wheels, and these are what allow it to actually move sideways rather than actually turn. Now these consist of rollers on a plastic wheel assembly that rotate individually to allow the robot to slide sideways with movement. Now something to be aware of on these is, whilst they do work on hard floors, I did find in my experience they work better on very short pile carpet. Also be aware that they do pick up a huge amount of dirt, and cleaning them can be difficult. However, if you do use it on a light pile carpet, it will tend to keep the dust and the crap out of the wheels for you automatically, and it's also a good way of cleaning them if you have been using them on a hard surface as well. Now, because of these wheels, it allows Robomaster to have frankly amazing maneuverability, unlike anything I've ever seen on a radio control or robot vehicle before. It allows you to do the usual front, back and rotate. However, that side movement allows it to literally perform moves in an instant when you're being chased or when you're using it in the battle scenario. Now, this has a number of control and speed settings, and it is actually only in slow here, and it is surprising how fast it will go when you ramp the settings up. Now, as I've already mentioned a few times, the Robomaster does have its onboard infrared and pellet cannon. Now, this does use the soft airsoft type pellets, which are made by DJI, but the airsoft ones do fit as well. Now, this is able to fire at a maximum rate of 10 a second, and these little pellets are a biodegradable expanding pellets, which you put in water and they expand, and then they fit into the top of the unit itself. Now, DJI do sell them, and they come in these absolutely tiny balls. You soak them for 4 to 6 hours, and then they expand then to a larger size that then fit into the cannon itself. And they are sort of a plasticky, rubbery material, and they are extremely bouncy. So if you do actually drop one, or when you do fire one, they totally bounce around the place. Now, to load them up, you press the release button on the back of the cannon and take out the cartridge. You then simply flip the cartridge over onto the other side, pull the spring mechanism back, open the door and pour the pellets inside. Now, they are biodegradable, which means they will actually shrink back down if they do actually get fired and not recovered, so don't worry, they won't be left everywhere. However, you can see that they are extremely bouncy when you drop them, so when you are firing them, they do actually go everywhere. Now, I did some filming of the cannon in slow motion just to try and show you some of these pellets exiting the gun itself. And whilst it's quite hard to show, you can see that they do come out with quite some force. Now, you can turn the blaster off and use just the infrared cannons if you want to. However, for me, it was hard to resist actually using the pellets, and whilst you can see that they are absolutely everywhere, they do clean up fairly easily, and because the Robomaster does have that knock detector on the front of it, you can use it that way. Now, as you can see, I am firing it at the lens of the camera here, so it does give you an idea of just the kind of force that's involved, but it isn't enough to do any real damage. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is take you through the Robomaster software and just show you some of its features before I finish this video up. Now, I'm not going to be able to cover everything in this video, such as the programming and things like that. I will touch a little bit on that area. However, I am going to cover that in more videos in the future. But what I just want to do is give you an overview of the kind of functionality you have from the app when you are wanting to control the Robomaster. Now, I've got it up on my phone screen, and it comes to the home page with a number of options. You've got the solo mode, the battle mode, or the lab, and the lab is where you do all of the programming. Now, as I've only got one Robomaster, I'm not going to be able to show you the battle mode, so I'll try and touch on that when I either order myself a second one, which I'm seriously tempted to do, or manage to find someone to be able to have a play with and doing that side of it. So the first thing we're going to do is take a look in the solo section. Now, as you can see, it comes up onto the main screen, and you can actually see the mess that is the back end of my office stroke workshop. And to control it, you simply move your finger around on the screen, and that actually moves the Robomaster itself. Now, I have to be a little bit careful here because I am on a very small table. Now, to move the turret around, it is the right-hand side of the screen. And what it also does is yaw the unit as well. So the turret actually moves a little bit first, and then it actually yaws the whole unit itself. And then the movement on the left-hand side with your thumb is the actual forward and back, left and right. Now, as I mentioned earlier in this video, it actually prefers slightly carpeted surfaces better than completely smooth ones like this floor, because it does move around a little bit. But as you can see, you've then got your main on-screen controls, and then you've got your camera moving around as per the turret. So if I rotate him around to the back, you can see it all doing that there. So looking at the main home screen itself, you've then got the blaster button down the bottom here. So if I tap that one, I've got the cannon turned off at the moment, so it's not actually firing the balls, but you can see that it will fire the actual infrared laser cannon itself. Now, you've got a whole host of options. The main options are up in the top right-hand corner, which is just tapping that option up there. You've then got the main home screen, which is telling you the drive time, the distance, and the driving time used. Now, because I've been using this on multiple devices, it's not actually a correct value. You've then got the connect options below it, which gives you the Wi-Fi controls and allows you to do the settings and whether you want to connect it to your phone and what the default options are. Now, when you do this, first of all, to connect the Robomaster to your phone, you need to pair it to the onboard Wi-Fi on the device. You need to make sure that the little switch on the top, which is located up on the side here, is pointed towards the little phone symbol, and then you go into your Wi-Fi settings on your device and connect. And on mine, you can see the name is the RMS1-2140AD, and the password is 12341234. So the first thing you need to do is connect your phone to the Wi-Fi on the Robomaster, and then the app will allow it to connect. You've then got below that is the IP address, and you've got the option to modify these settings if you want to. You then below this have got the display options, and here you can change various things such as the color of the LEDs to identify your specific Robomaster. So if you are battling it, we can change the LED colors to red. We can change them to pink, purple, blue, lighter blue. So you can change them depending on what color you want to do, depending if you're battling against on other robots or not. You've then got the FPV hit par, FPV screen adaptation, and FPV gimbal angle readout. You've then got the video resolution settings, so either 720p or 1080p on 50 and 60 hertz, depending on if you're in Europe, UK, or the USA, depending on your mains frequency. Below this, you've then got the 3D quality. Now, this is for the augmented reality overlays as part of the app as well. And I'll show you that a little bit more in a minute. And it actually puts some 3D overlays onto the screen when you're actually using it. Below this, you've got the option for the controls, which gives you the speed control for the unit. Now, as you can see, I've got this on slow, and I wouldn't put it on any faster than that, especially on this table, because it is quite rapid for a vehicle like this. You've then got the firing mode options. So you've got the infrared, which we're on now, or you've got the option to enable the cannon, which is gel beads. Now, it does come up with a warning when you do this, so please do make sure you do it properly. And again, it is not suitable for people under the age of 14 at this point. There are also some restrictions on the angle it will fire as well, so it doesn't fire at people's eyes, but these can be disabled too if you want to. So we're going to turn the cannon back on, and then you've got the safety protection, which is the ability to fire the cannon when the gimbal pitch, so the gimbal here, angle is only fire less than 10 degrees, and you can turn that on and off as well. You then got the on-screen sight type, and then the ability to calibrate the sight on the unit as well. And that is to allow you to calibrate where the actual hit ends up and where your sight is shown on the screen. So if you are finding your accuracy on your Canon isn't as good as it should be, you can actually do it via that. You've then got the control mode options for either the mobile device, which I've got it on here, the gamepad, which I will talk about a little bit more in a minute, or the PC as well, because you can control this via a computer. And the Robomaster app is available for PC and Mac too, and it allows you to control it directly. You've then got the control sensitivity settings, which you've got default or custom, which allows you to change how it reacts to your thumb movements on the screen. Gimbal gyro control, 3D touch, so rather than having a separate button for firing, you can actually just push harder on the screen and it will fire. 3D touch sensitivity, I should say. And then you've got the vibration option, vibration feedback. I didn't particularly like that, I turned that off. But that is the main controls on that. And then you got down to system, which is programming sleep mode, which allows the device to enter sleep whilst you've got it turned on and you're messing with the programming. The app version, the languages, firmware update options, and all of the basic stuff like that. Now in here is one quite important thing which I will talk about, which is the armor and motor addressing. When you first set up the Robomaster and take it through that setup, it will ask you to actually turn the wheels in the right direction so it knows which way it's pointing, and also then tap each of the hit pointers on each side to allow it to make sure that it knows where the front one is, the left one, the right one, and the back one. So if you do get the calibration wrong when you first turn it on, don't worry, you can do it again via these settings in the apps. Now, as I mentioned in the earlier spec, the Robomaster uses direct drive brushless motors. There are no gearboxes, there is nothing involved, and you also have to set the calibration for them as well, and you do that within here too. Finally, you got the options for the SD card, the beginner guide, GPS information, and all of the usual stuff that you get with a DJI model. Moving back to the home screen, you've then got the option down the bottom here for doing the special move. Now, what the special move is, it's a pre-programmed move that you can set via the programming. So when you are battling or doing anything like that, at a quick press of the button, like that, Robomaster will perform a predetermined action. And you can use this for something like spin round 180 degrees, fire the cannon, spin round and carry on driving. So you can do some really cool stuff with that. And I have been exploring it, but I've got nothing else programmed in there other than what it's doing there at the moment. Just wait for that to finish. Now, as I have got the cannon turned on, there is 1 or 2 balls left in there, as you can see, but they've probably shrunk because they're getting dry now. They've been in there about a week and I haven't actually... Let's have a look. There they are. They are getting a little bit smaller, so I suspect they're not going to be... yeah, they're not firing quite as well as they usually would. Now with these gel beads is they actually shrink once they start to dry out and it's not able to have the force. You do need to keep them in a tub wet to get the best out of them, and that'll keep them at maximum size, and then they fire out of the cannon properly. At the moment they're quite smaller, they've shrunk back, so they're not actually firing out as good as they could be. Right, moving along the bottom of the app, the next option there is actually person focus. Now what it will do is it will lock onto a person and follow them. Now I haven't actually got any footage of this and I haven't actually tried it a lot, but it does work, and the Robomaster will actually follow you as you walk, a bit like Active Track that DJI have on their aircraft models. So it's basically the same as that. You've then got a zoom function that allows you to zoom in. It's again a digital zoom on the camera. It's nothing spectacular, but it is a basic zoom that allows you to do that too. Moving over to this side here, you've got the game options for the solo mode, and you've got target practice and target race. Now what these allow you to do is actually set up the targets that they include with it, and they are little cardboard targets. Mine are located over here. They look like this. And they have numbers up to 5, and you also have some other strange targets like this one as well. And it allows you to put the numbers around the places you've seen earlier in the video, And it will actually, you have the opportunity to fire against them in a race or just fire against them in a target practice. And it's something you can do against other people because you can do it yourself and then get your kids to do it as well. And it's quite fun, to be honest. So the target practice itself, if I hit start, it gives me a set down time to actually do it. So if I move mine around, look at the target there. And as I show you that, you can actually see the augmented reality come over the top of it there. And it actually recognizes the target. I didn't do it quick enough, so it's actually timed out on me. Let's do it again, please. Restart. Give it another try. And fire. And it comes up, and it shows you the 3D effect, the augmented reality that you do get over the screen. So you do have some built-in games that come with it in the solo mode, but the real fun comes when you actually move it into battle mode, and that's where you get the most out of it. So I'm just going to put it, it doesn't like you moving it by itself either. So again, you do have to be a bit careful when you're on a table this small. So that's the basic overview of the main app. There are a couple of other features as well, but the basics are, that's the control you've got from there, and then you've got the recording option down in the bottom corner, which allows you to record to the SD card on board the main unit. As you can say, it's not letting me do it. And you then up here got the little microphone, and do you remember I mentioned earlier in the video about you can record audio? Well, you can actually do this, and I can just type on that, testing the audio from the Robomaster. And it will actually save that into a file, and you can play it back whenever you want to. And you can also set it to loop. So yeah, that's the recording, and you can save, I think it was up to 10. Yeah, 10 recent entries. And the nice thing with it is you can just record like messages and battle cries if you want to do it whilst you're fighting with other users. And again, you can just simply hit it and it will play it back. And it's not the loudest in the world, but you can certainly hear it anyway. So that's the main stuff on the main screen. Now, I'm not going to go into battle mode because there's not a lot I can actually show you in here. And one thing I just want to show you there is, what's a nice cool feature about the app is you can actually move around the Robomaster as well on the home screen. It's 3D, which I thought was really cool. You do have the battle mode, which allows you to play against other users, and you've got the option for race, free-for-all, conquest mode, and you can set up custom games as well. Again, that's about as far as I can go on this part because I don't actually have that bit. Now, the next thing we're going to look at is the lab, and I'm just going to give you guys a quick overview of this. I'm not going to go too deep, but it is just to show you it. Now, it is based on that visual block programming, which is basically like Sketch and that kind of easy to do block programming where you drag and drop. It does also support Python as well, and that is for the more in-depth programming, but the lab basically gives the basic programming options as well as the more in-depth ones depending on what your experience is. So what we're going to go into is the basic Scratch type programming. Click on new, and in here you have the ability to basically access the system and control it and tell it to do some things. So under system, for instance, you've got the option to travel mode, let chassis to lead, start timer, start camera magnification. You've got LED effects. So what I can do is if I bring this into here, I can say change the color LEDs to red. And if we go back into LED effects, let's just find flash LEDs. Oh, no, I don't want that one. Let's go back into LED effects, scroll up at a rate of 2 Hertz. So what I'm actually going to do is change that to 10 Hertz and hit play. And what you'll see is it'll change the bottom tones to red and flash 10 times. So it's easy to do as that. You then got chassis, gimbal, blaster. So what we've got, set gimbal forward. So it's all block-based, simple, intuitive programming. Now, I'm only beginning to play with this aspect on this, and there are some little quirks to it in the way it behaves because you've got to enable the chassis before it actually moves. It's not as simple as telling it just to move. You've got to do some little playing around some of the actions as that. But you do have controls for the whole system all over the place, and it allows you to do varying aspects such as the blaster, the armor, and do all of the programming like that. Now, if you did want to do something a little bit more complex, you've then got the Python option, which allows you to take things a little bit deeper. Okay, the final thing I want to talk to you guys about is the remote controller, which is available for it from DJI as well. Now, I ordered this when I ordered the Robomaster, and it just makes controlling it a little bit easier. Now, as I mentioned earlier in the video, controlling the Robomaster comes in a couple of ways. You can either connect your smartphone or tablet directly to Robomaster via Wi-Fi. You can connect the Robomaster to your home router or your router that is dedicated for it, and then connect your smart devices to that to control it. Or third, you can connect it to the router and control it via a PC. But you then also have the gamepad option, and the idea of the gamepad is it allows you to connect up a mouse and a keyboard to able to do extra stuff on this via the app, but it also gives you some extra buttons and programmable buttons that allow you to do some additional functions within the custom programming options within, say, Sketch or Python. Now, the remote has a single control stick on the one side, and then it's got some buttons all over it. You've got one on the top there, you've got a trigger on the back, you've got a button down by there as well. So you've got a whole host of extra control buttons, and there's a little left one over there too. Now, the way it works is you simply take your phone or your smart device. Now, it isn't wireless, it does need to plug in on the cable, and it has like a bit of a groove here for the cable to plug in, but it's extendable, so it will fit quite a large device on board as well, and then it springs in to actually hold it in place. So the way it works, for instance, with my iPhone is we take my iPhone, drop the cable into the corner there, put it in the controller just like that, and then we plug it into one of the USB ports on the top. Now, they are labeled mouse in one of them or device in the other, so we're going to pop it over to device. Now, ideally, you're going to want to use a shorter cable than the standard length one I'm using here, and then once you've got it connected, it shows up as connected. So you then, if I go into the solo option, wait for that to kick in, you can see we've got the control on the stick on this side, and we have some control there, and then you've got the right control via the on-screen option there. And again, you're still using on-screen for this side, but you've then got a dedicated fire button on the back of it there as well. So it does give you an option. Now, if I'm honest, I would have preferred to have had a controller with two sticks, one on each side. That would have been my personal preference. However, today that isn't officially supported. There is a way to do it on Android with something called Octopus, I believe it is. It's an app that allows you to map on-screen controls to a controller. However, officially the only support that there is via the DJI remote, which is available as well. Now, I did buy it for mine, and I haven't given it a huge amount of use yet, but I'm interested to see how it behaves, especially with a larger tablet, using the mouse in the back, as I've said, and then giving me the ability to do a bit more on the additional programming as well, rather than connecting it up directly to a PC. But it is available from DJI, and it does have a little stand on the back as well that you can flip up and pop it down like that, rather than actually just laying it straight down. And that is pretty much it for this video. Now, there is so much that I have not covered in this about the Robomaster. There is tons to this product, and I'm going to make a number of videos over the next couple of months showing you some of those features, the things that I haven't talked about, as well as anything new that DJI bring. Now, I ordered this in, I think, September, and it arrived at the end of October or early November, and it stayed boxed up until Christmas, where I was able to get it out and we put it together with the family. Now, I have to say, the build experience on this I thoroughly enjoyed. It's one of the most interesting things that I have done in a very long time. It took me a couple of hours, and it was some of the best 2 hours I've spent in a long time. I just thoroughly enjoyed the way it went together, the way DJI provided the kit. It's a really nice experience, and it is hard not to be really impressed with the overall build quality and fit and finish of this, especially in the fact that it does come in a kit. Now, if you are interested in the Robomaster, it's a hard one for me to say should you buy this or not. It comes in about £499 in the UK and about $540 US, so it isn't the cheapest educational robot out there. However, it is unlike any of the other ones as well. It does do far more than things like the Cosmo or the Tello drone, and the fact it has the battling capabilities and the programming capabilities and the solo games really puts it into a totally new category, unlike anything else. For me, I absolutely think it was worth it. I really do. If you're someone who's interested in robotics, you want to spend time with your family, your kids, or you just want to learn to be able to do new and interesting things with something like this, then it is absolutely worth it. Add on top of that the capability for battling, and there is hours of fun to be had, and I'm looking forward to setting that up myself and trying that out, even if I have to buy another one to be able to do it. Now, as I've said, it is £499, $540, so it isn't the cheapest thing in the world, but it it is worth considering if you're looking for one of these. Now, there is links to the Robomaster in the description of this video. They are affiliate links and I will receive a small commission by you using them. However, it is only by you guys using those videos am I able to keep making videos like this. So if you do want to support the channel, please do use those links to buy the Robomaster, any accessories, and I'll put links to all of them in there as well for both DJI, Banggood, and all of the usual suspects too. Finally, I'd just like to thank you for watching this video. Please do hit that subscribe button and I will do another one again soon. Please do subscribe to the channel and check out all of the other videos we have available. They are also split into playlists to help you easily find the ones that are relevant to you. If you would like to support the channel, please check out the links that are in the description for each video. You will find the links for the products we've been talking about, and it's only by you guys purchasing via these links that allows us to keep making videos and buy products to talk about in the future. Please also check us out and follow us on all of the social media platforms such as Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. We're beginning to build these accounts up, and whilst it is early days, I would appreciate it if you would like, share and follow us on these platforms. Finally, please also check out my website, www.madrc.com. Now, this is somewhere that we've been putting some of our blog posts and things like that over the last couple of years. So if you're interested in having a look, please do go check it out. That is it. Please do click that subscribe button. Thank you very much, and I will do another video again soon.